Welcome back, boys and girls. I'm Mrs. Numata, and I'm so glad you're back to join me for my second video as we continue our science fair experiment, which we were looking at which is healthier, soda or water. And we already started the process. And the last I talked to you, you were doing research, and you were going to find out some facts about soda and facts about water and about our bodies. And so let's go ahead. I have some students that would like to share with you some of the things that they found out. Let's go to them.
One fact that I wrote down in my book is that without water, oxygen can't get to tiny cells in your body, and without water in the tiny cells, the cells would die and your body would stop working.
Okay, now, one fact that I would like to share is that soda, if you drink too much soda, gives you cavities.
One fact I'd like to share is drinking too much soda can cause negative effects in your body.
One fact I would like to share about soda is that soda has 150 calories, and that is a lot of calories.
One fact I would like to share is the study exam of sugary drinks as well, non-carbonated sports and energy drinks, 100% fruit juice that is bad for your teeth, and unlike water, it is bad for your body.
A couple of facts we learned are
soda will affect your kidneys and liver and may cause cancer.
70 water composes 75% of your brain.
One fact I would like to share is some people say it's okay to drink diet soda, but diet soda contains aspartame, which could cause cancer.
All right, so hopefully in your notebooks that you have, that you're keeping track of all your stuff in, you have written down some of your facts as well. I'm going to go ahead and share some facts with you that I found on the internet that I wrote down in my book, and then let's go ahead and look at that. According to the website Breaking Muscle, Becca Borowski-Jenkins writes that your body is composed of roughly 60% water. The same website states, if you don't drink water, you will die. It's that important. Depending on our environment, we can only live a few days without water, maybe a week. According to Health and Medicine magazine, drinking water can prevent cancer. Various research states staying hydrated can reduce risk of colon cancer by 45%, bladder cancer by 50%, and other cancers too. All right. Lots of facts. We're learning lots of things. And I know many of you have already went on the internet and you've looked at books and you've talked to your parents and you've been writing down your facts in your science notebook. So in third grade, I had my kids collect 12 facts. And depending on what your teacher said, you had a different amount of facts, or maybe they had you write a paragraph, put all your facts into a paragraph or something like that. But however you did it, make sure you get your facts written down. And we are ready to make our hypothesis. Now remember, a hypothesis is an educated guess on what we think is going to happen in our experiment. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to introduce to you our experiment, and then we'll come back and we'll write our hypothesis based on what we know from our research. Before we get on to the fun part, which, well, it's all fun, but the experiment itself, I know a lot of you guys enjoy doing the science experiment part. We need to go ahead and make our hypothesis. So on your book, in your science notebook, write down hypothesis. Go to your next empty page after your research and write hypothesis. You can underline it, or if you want to make the cloud around it, you can. And when you're thinking of your hypothesis, you want to remember to keep it simple and clearly stated. So for an example, in our experiment, we're going to be testing Actually, I can show some of it to you. We're going to be testing soda, the effects of soda and water on plants. So I have 2 plants. Let me show them to you. I have 2 plants, the same type of plant, and we are going to be sketching these later on in our notebooks. One is labeled soda, and one is labeled water. And these plants, I'm going to give the one that has soda, I'm going to give it soda to drink for its food. And with the one that's labeled water, we'll only get water. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to visit these plants every couple days and observe them and write down what we see happening. If they're thriving, if they're remaining healthy, or if they're dying or not. If how they're reacting to getting soda versus water. Okay? So remember, when you're doing your hypothesis, that your hypothesis is your educated guess. You're educated because you've done research, and now you're making a guess on what you think will happen in your experiment. Okay, so I went ahead and wrote down my hypothesis on the board, and depending on your teacher, you can copy this one down, or she might have you write your own, or maybe she'll help you come up with a different one. But go ahead and write your hypothesis. All right, welcome back, boys and girls. All right, we've written down our hypothesis. Now we're ready to start our experiment. We're ready to plan our experiment. Okay, that's our next step. So on your next blank page in your notebook, go ahead and turn the page so you have an empty page. And at the top, write experiment. And for our experiment, the first thing we're going to list is our materials. The materials that we need for our experiment. So you can go ahead and write those down. So you're going to need 2 plants, okay? And I marked my plants, soda and water. So I know which one is soda, which one is water. You're going to need water, which we all have water, just tap water. Soda, you're going to need some soda, bottle of soda. And of course, you're going to need a notebook and your pencil. All right, boys and girls. So in your notebook, you put down experiment, you have your materials listed, you've skipped a line, and you've put the word steps. Now we're going to list our steps. And the first thing, and if you want teachers, if you want to pause this so they can copy them down, you can. And they can copy these in their notebook. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to sketch the 2 plants in our notebook. And I will show you how to do that when we get to recording data. But go ahead and write that down. Number 2, place the 2 plants in the same spot, like a sunny spot, depending on the plant. So you're going to want to figure out what your plants need. And for us, for our plants, it tells me on the side of my plant, it gives me directions on how to take care of my plant. And it tells me right here that I want to keep my soil well drained. I want to keep in a sunny spot where it gets 90% sun. So I want to make sure that I follow the directions on what my plants need. So that's what we're going to do with ours. Step number 3, give the water plant water 1 time per day. Step 4, give the soda plant soda 1 time per day. Okay? And then number 5, 1 time per week for 2 to 4 weeks, observe your plants and make a sketch, and I should have put in your notebook. So go ahead and write down your steps. And then when I come back, we'll talk about recording, conducting the experiment and recording our data.